Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Hard Truth. And thank you so much for watching. I told you a gag order means nothing in this case. Mrs. G is calling in, dropping information, okay? She called into Daniel, the Drunk Turkey Show, gag order or no gag order, okay? And also, Brian Kohberger is getting respect, okay? And I'm going to tell you why he's getting it, all right? So, you don't have to grab anything to drink because guess what? I'm getting ready to give you the tea. Just relax and throw your feet up or something while we begin our story. Okay? As you can see, Brian Kohlberger is in court in a suit, honey. They're supposed to have done that before now. They put him in a suit and let him come in and sit down with some respect. And you know why you know why they're looking at him like that with all this awe in their eye? Because he's doing his time like a champ. And just a few crumbs of words that we've gotten from him since he's been arrested have been sophisticated and intelligent. Okay? And so, I mean, he's playing the role he's supposed to play as if he's not under any pressure. And so now all of a sudden he's in a suit. Okay? So guess what? He's supposed to be in a suit because he told him no, keep the gag order up. I don't want cameras in the courtroom. This is why. Okay? He's not whining to the press. That man is carrying himself with respect, and so is his family. I haven't heard now. I hear more about Mr. G and Mrs. G than I do the Kohbergers, and I'm not saying that in a critical manner. I'm saying that as far as a gag order. Okay, the Mr. G and his family have lost a child. They've been grieving, okay, since November the 13th, and so I understand their involvement in the case, and especially the lawsuit. All right. And so, but the Kohbergers, they they got their son hanging on a cliff and they're watching him about to die. Okay. It's nobody gonna call and tell them. They're watching it every day that he sits in that jail. But you haven't heard anything about the Kohbergers. Out making statements and stuff. You haven't heard anything from them. Okay. This man is carrying himself with respect and dignity. Even though, look what they're doing, not just to him, his family. They made his parents go to a grand jury over some foolishness, okay? Trying to tie him to some lady that they don't even know. Just foolishness, disrespect his parents. He's still carrying himself like a professional, all right? And he's still carrying himself like a PhD student. And you have to, after a while, you have to give people their props. Okay? After all they have thrown against Brian Kohberger and he's still carrying himself like he has, he pleaded not guilty and he's letting them know, hey, let's keep this professional. I'm gonna be at my trial, fight for my life. I don't want it to be a clown show. Okay, so now the media and the court system starting to look like a clown with all the stuff they throwing at this man because he hasn't said a mumbling word. So now everybody around him that's throwing jabs is starting to look like clowns. All right, he flipped the script just with his demeanor. And y'all said, why you all on Kohberger like that? I'm just calling it like I see it. I'm just calling it like I see it. Okay, I also want to talk about the fact that Mrs. G called in to Daniel on the Drunk Turkey Show. Like I said in my gag order video, the gag order means nothing because whoever feels like dropping information drops it. We've gotten so many leaks until they're not even leaks anymore. It's just the news. Okay? But anyway, I want to make a part two to this because I'm rushing through this video to hurry up and get it out. But I will say this uh, Mrs. G was mentioning how Dylan was calling around to everybody at about 4:30 is my understanding. And I'll go into this all more into detail in my next video. Okay, the part 2 to this. I'm saying that because Dylan was not somewhere afraid, asleep, or whatever. She wasn't even in the house. I've said this so many times. And so she wasn't able to go and knock on every door because she wasn't in the house. Because if she was in the house and it was happening the way she said, she would have gone and checked on her roommates, okay? And also, I mean, for her to be calling around at 4:30, she wasn't in the house, all right? And her calling around, I believe, was to see if everybody was deceased. I said this before, all right? I said all this before, but I'm having a few technical difficulties, so I'm going to have to sit down and make my video the way I want to um, after I, log off and log on to another device. Okay, but I am going to go ahead and publish this one so we can start talking about it now. All right, Mrs. G, her account of DM calling around to the different victims, the Idaho 4, calling around to their different phones tells us a lot. It tells us that she was somewhere else on the phone verifying that nobody could use the phone. She wasn't in the house. I will say that until somebody brings evidence to the contrary. I don't believe she was in the house, nor was Bethany at 4:29, 4:30, or whenever. I don't believe it. Okay, so what do you think about these two things? All right, Brian's showing up in a suit, and the more civilized he acts, the more of a circus everybody that's attacking him is going to start looking. Okay, it's already happening, and the media is already turning on law enforcement. And the media, if you really pay attention to the reporting, even the lawyers are starting to say things a lot differently because, I mean, the longer this goes on, the more we realize that the PCA is not the gospel, it's not the Bible here as far as what happened in this case. Far from it.